Hey, good morning, Cole Canyon Coyotes. Welcome to our Friday Flag video. Whether you are a student or a staff member, we always appreciate you tuning in each week. We hope our videos are informative and fun at the same time. Let's begin this one with the Pledge of Allegiance, shall we? Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Guys and girls, during this season of Thanksgiving, I encourage all of us to take time to express gratitude and appreciation for those around us here on this campus. We all need family and friends in our lives who support us each day. We know that's important. Being the principal of Cole Canyon Elementary, I have the special privilege to work with such special people here, nearly 100 adults who are dedicated to supporting all students, no matter who they are or in what grade they find their place each day. Thank you, Cole Canyon staff. We are the perfect example of a high-functioning team. I really mean that. I appreciate you all so very much. Your dedication to take on so many roles for our students does not go unnoticed. So thank you for dedicating your time and energy each day to support our students and each other. That's important. This is a worthy endeavor. And students, if you get a chance this holiday season, I encourage you to show your gratefulness to those around you, those who support you each day and encourage you to do your very best. Now I'll turn it over to my fantastic team, who I am so thankful for. We will start with Dr. Wheeler.
Good morning, Coyotes. I hope you are all having a wonderful day so far. Today, as your assistant principal, I want to remind you of the importance of being mindful of our language. I know Mr. Shaw spoke about this last month, and I am speaking to it again because it is so important. Language is a powerful tool that we use to communicate with others. It can also be used to hurt or threaten people, though, and sometimes we might not even realize how our words can affect others. That is why we need to be respectful and kind when we talk to others. We need to avoid using bad words. We need to avoid insults or name calling. We also need to avoid using threatening language, such as saying, I'm going to hit you or I'm going to kill you. Even if you are just joking, these kinds of words make people feel scared and angry and sad, and we do not want our friends to feel like that here at Cole Canyon. Instead, we should use positive and polite language, such as saying, please, thank you, I'm sorry, or excuse me. We should also use words that show empathy and compassion, such as saying, I understand how you feel, or I am here for you. These kinds of words can make people feel valued, supported, and happy. Being mindful of our language is not only good for others, but it is good for ourselves because it helps us develop good manners and good habits. It also helps us build positive relationships and friendships with others. I know you can all see bad examples of this on TV, on YouTube, sometimes even in person. But again, here at Cole Canyon, we want you all to be practicing the right way to communicate with your classmates and teachers, which strengthens your relationships and makes you a better person. So if you are ever in doubt, think before you speak and ask yourself, are my words helpful or harmful? Are my words respectful or rude? If I say this, would this be an example of being a hero? Remember, heroes speak assertively, respectfully, and are aware of the impact of their words. If you are not sure how your words affect others, please ask a teacher, any of us, or someone you trust for help. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. And now to Mrs. Lane and Mr. Zanartu.
Thank you, Dr. Wheeler, and hello, students and staff. Each Friday Flag video, we get the chance to recognize students in every single grade level who have earned that hero shout out from his or her teacher. These students have shown what it means to be a hero, being helpful, encouraging, respectful, and outstanding in their class, and probably are amazing communicators. So here we go. In kindergarten, in Mrs. Miller's class, Remington and Cade. In Mrs. Eisinger's class, Harper, Riot, and Cannon. In Mrs. Amcrott's class, Claire. And in Mrs. Gorton's class, Hope and Brandon.
For first grade, from Mrs. Stranger's class, we have Hazel. From Mrs. Cron's class, we have Keaton. From Mrs. Espinoza, we have Charlie Smith. From Mrs. Moret, we have Adelina. And from Mr. Reagan, we have Lila.
And in Mrs. Silva's class, second grade, Archie. In Mrs. Garrity's class, Hannah. Mrs. Pacey's class, Troy, Carly, and Gavin. Mrs. Gonzalez's class, Jose. Mrs. Manzela's class, Isabella. And Mrs. Shaw's class, Kate.
For third grade, from Mrs. Hess's class, we have Alanis. From Mrs. Levin's class, we have Scarlett. From Mrs. Welch, we have Liam. From Mrs. Hewitson, we have Isaiah. From Mrs. Tope's class, we have Dira. From Mrs. De Leon, Alicia. From Mrs. Hartley's, we have Amber.
And in fourth grade, Miss Ariana's class, congratulations to Hyatt. Mrs. Calvia Murray's class, Colton. In Mr. Pacey's class, Jeremiah. Mrs. Murray's class, Diego. And Mrs. Trujillo's class, Kenzie.
And rounding it out with our fifth graders, from Mrs. Bryan's class, we have Leo D. From Mrs. Reagan, we have Liam. From Mrs. Greenstein, we have Julian M. From Mrs. Mirande, Reed. From Mrs. Bethke, we have Miranda. And finally, from Mrs. Hemrick's class, we have Lee. Congratulations to all of you that earned this weekly shout out. Remember that these names are entered in our monthly drawings for our class prize at each grade level at our live Friday flag assembly. Now let's turn it back over to Mr. Shaw to close us out.
Hey, thank you, team. Again, so grateful for you, the three of you. Hey, we are so proud of your efforts to be heroes on this campus. So thankful that you are all willing to do your very best. Hey, we appreciate you tuning in. You make good choices, you model appropriate behavior, and you're part of our dynamic community of lifelong learners. So have a great Thanksgiving week, everyone. Rest up, relax, enjoy your family time. We'll see you back on Monday, November 27th.